everyone. Well, great to be here and to present to you what's WebRTC and an update on where we are at the moment and what we have done in the past few months. My name is Niklas Blum. I'm a product manager at Google in the WebRTC team in the Stockholm office. So as an introduction, Alan talked a little bit about democratizing communications. And when you think about 3, 4, 5 years ago, when you wanted to develop real-time communication services on the web, you had to use tools like Macromedia Flash at this time or Adobe Flash. You had to implement your own Java solution maybe to bring communications into the browser. And Google thought basically on how can we bring real-time communications on a similar level as web technologies to an API level. And what Google did was basically to acquire 2 companies. One is WebRTC, which was a web-based multi-party communication tool, and the other one was Global IP Solutions, a codec company. And the idea was at this time basically to provide a platform to developers which makes use of web technologies inside of the browser to make real-time communications, voice communication, video communication, but also a data communication as an integral part of the browser and provided to developers via APIs. The support of JavaScript was basically absolutely necessary for this to to make RTC, a real-time communication, an integral part of the web experience, and native APIs for mobile devices. And obviously, we couldn't do anything from scratch, and we always wanted to be part, basically, of an integral part of the existing telecommunication space. So it was clear to make use of standard-based communication protocols which are providing the real-time layer. So what we did was we created a complete stack coming from the RTP layer, from encryption that we put on top of it, from bandwidth estimation, and the codecs that we had with Global IP Solutions. And we brought basically high-level APIs to developers to encapsulate this complexity on a very high level, to have it in a way, an abstraction that the web developer can directly make use of it, and that this deep and fundamental understanding of RTC and telecoms is not necessary anymore for the developer. And we did this on web APIs, and we're doing this on native APIs now for the mobile environment, namely for iOS and for Android. So we are pushing WebRTC forward. We want to be the best on the web, on Android, on iOS. And that means the best in media quality, the best in connection establishment, on managing latency. We want to be 100% open source. Google does not do this to become an own communication provider. This is a toolkit that we give out for others to innovate on this. And this is why we're extremely happy to see happenings like this here, but all over the world where we see small companies and also big companies picking up our code and creating basically new services and a new momentum for innovation in the communication space. And even make it royalty-free. So the codecs, Opus that is in there, ISAC that is in there, VP8 for video. These are all royalty-free and available for anybody to make use and innovate in the communication space. And on top of it, there come the standardized APIs and protocols. And we push out new releases every 6 weeks. So with every Chrome release, you get a new WebRTC release, and all the continuous work of the Google team and all the other teams which are contributing to it now go in this. And this is how we basically keep up the momentum to continuously innovate and improve on this. So what is in for you as a developer and also as a service provider? You have basically a base of 1.5 billion WebRTC-enabled browsers in the market. So when you develop an app or when you bring out a service, you have automatically a base of devices basically that are ready to use your app and make use of it. We have more than 3 billion apps that make use of WebRTC that have been downloaded from the various app stores. That's huge. WebRTC works on mobile. It's not a secret anymore. And Via, who is just presented before, they make use of WebRTC. It's their integral component for realizing audio communication and not yet video communication at the moment. And there are more than 600 companies who have been created or who make use of WebRTC as their baseline of bringing new innovative services into the communication space. So who are those? Obviously it's us. So Hangouts is based on WebRTC in Chrome. The Facebook Messenger, for example, is based on WebRTC. You have Citrix with the GoToMeeting. You have TalkBox, a Telefonica company who is a pure WebRTC communication provider. Cinch, a company in Sweden based on coming out of Reptel. Twilio, we had just some weeks ago their signaling conference and they're advertising and pushing WebRTC extensively. Talco, Comcast, Amazon Mayday on the Fire tablets, the Mayday button that you can push, that is a WebRTC call that is being started. We have Oracle here, Uber Conference, WebEx, AppearIn. We even have an operator who creates an alternative solution for video calling based on WebRTC. And when you do inside of Firefox a peer-to-peer call, basically, with the Firefox Hello service, that's all a WebRTC call. And that's only possible because basically we provided this toolkit open and free, and we can see that within 3 years what has happened from an innovation momentum in there, which we are really proud of and which we are very happy to see that we could leverage this in such a short time. So what's in for you as a developer? What do we have there as a support environment? We have all the code is open. It's just there, you can grab it. There are development lists. We have over 4,000 developers basically on the dev list, and each of them has somehow commented and contributed on those dev lists. We have more than 2,000 people who read our docs about WebRTC every day who just want to get information about this. And we have like 1,000 views on our samples on GitHub and check out there. So what can we build on WebRTC? Besides those 600 companies, what are the examples? You can have a plug-in-free audio and video communication. You can do mobile RTC with a high quality of service, instant messaging, voice and video, which Facebook has adopted. You can do anonymous file sharing over it. You can do screen sharing, but you can also think basically beyond your average communication service, which is always related to audio and video. So there's a data channel in there, and Banana Bread, basically an online game, makes use of the data channel for using multiplayer gaming. PubNub is providing a front end based on WebRTC to its content delivery network, and you can even do IoT services through it, basically. And CoPay is a payment service which enables a Bitcoin wallet through the WebRTC data channel. So all those developers who are connected to this event here, think a little bit beyond basically your audio and video communication that can be done and how communications become an integral component and service to your existing service to enable others to join this communication space in your service. So what are the WebRTC improvements that we have done under the hood that maybe are not even visible to you as a developer or as a company? So we have spent a tremendous time in bandwidth estimation and to bring basically the best quality of peer experience out to the user. So here what you see basically on our old bandwidth estimation algorithm, you see how long we take basically and how well, we were not good basically in really mapping the existing bandwidth is available. And here you see basically, after the improvement of the algorithm, how close we are in our bandwidth estimation algorithm to the actual bitrate is available. And that directly reflects basically to what kind of video bitrate you have available, how many frames we can send, and how fast you go up to HD. So in Chrome 42, 40% of the Mac users have HD video within 2 seconds at the moment. And that was basically, within 2 releases, we got more than almost 20% more users in ramping up towards HD. And that tremendously makes part of your user experience. And these are big teams actually inside of the Google office in Stockholm who spend exclusively their time on improving this functionality inside of the WebRTC engine. And every 6 weeks you get a new release with all those improvements coming in. And then we see this tremendous shift to mobile. So that is a picture from Google I/O that just took place some weeks ago. And that was a picture of all the different Android devices that are out there. And all of our mobile devices, even if we do a lot of web browsing on it, communications is the main purpose for them from the very beginning. I think 6 out of 10 of the most successful apps in the app stores are still communication apps related to instant messaging or voice and video communication. So we work hard basically to bring WebRTC on mobile. So the RTC peer connection that you have basically inside of the web becomes a peer connection class in Android. And in iOS it's again an RTC peer connection. And these are all the few lines of code that you actually need to create a communication sessions between two devices. And below it's the same stack. It's the same WebRTC libs basically that are providing the functionality with the codecs in there. And the interesting part is on mobile, on a broadband network, we are now down to 500 milliseconds in call establishment time. And we are even trying to bring this down to 300 milliseconds. So if you consider call establishment in a circuit switch call environment, where it might take up to 5 seconds maybe to bring up a call on a 2G or 3G network, these are really fundamental different times. And even if you consider basically the call setup times in VoLTE, I think there's something which can be done on an OTT level where we are really on par now with the quality of experience that the telco operators can provide. So what are the upcoming improvements that we are talking about? We still want to improve on the connection establishment. We want to become faster here. We do this also by faster crypto key generation to manage encryption and decryption. We work on better network robustness and adaptation to QoS changes. So especially if you want to go down maybe to edge networks, 2.5G networks, you have congestion in the core network, you get a period of time where you don't receive packets and then you receive many packets, for example, when the scheduler provides a channel to you. So we are working basically on how the engine, how the bandwidth estimation and how the codecs can cope with such flaky network behavior. We do rate adaptation for audio, which is upcoming. So at the moment, only video is being rate adapted, and you do on a static configuration for the Opus codec, and this is becoming basically adaptive to the bandwidth estimation. And we work a lot on delay and jitter improvements. Well, there's a lot in the box that will be upcoming in future releases in WebRTC, and we are really happy to see the uptake by the developers that have been taking place, especially in the last year. So for the developers, there are main 3 resources that I would recommend you to go to. There's g.co/WebRTC. That's a document where we link to many other resources, to tutorials for mobile especially, how to develop on iOS, how to develop on Android. There are code examples there. We provide a free WebRTC backend on uprtc.org, which you can use just to test your WebRTC application. There's stun and turn being available with that to enable you to go through NAT. And there's another site which is called test.webrtc.org, where you can basically test your implementation, where you can see how you are in a connection, what kind of bandwidth you have available on different devices, what kind of resolutions you have on the camera available. And you test basically all the basic WebRTC functionality. And that was, by the way, the outcome of a hackathon where staff of us participated about a year ago. So that brings me to the end of my keynote. Thank you. I'm here for your questions. And I don't know who of you knows that meme. That was sent out by a YouTube employee some weeks ago when some journalists asked. So I hope I don't have to show this meme to you, because I'm here to provide you all the answers to the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Niklas. Do we have any questions from the audience? Don't be shy. Excellent.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I have 2 questions. The first one is what these technologies mean for the... could you go a bit more into the detail about what these technologies mean for the gaming experience and to the gaming industry? And the second question is which are the next steps in terms of the standards? So what should we expect next regarding the standardization of WebRTC?
I hope I got fully your question, but it's difficult for me to actually hear you being behind the speaker. So the first one was related to gaming. So I gave one example how the WebRTC data channel is basically being used as an enablement for so WebRTC becomes basically a toolkit which game companies and game developers can just integrate themselves and to enable basically multiplayer communication. So it provides a communication channel for this example just for the game, to make the game a multiplayer game. But then there's a second part to it. Gamers communicate a lot, so many of the big games basically have an alternative communication channel, instant messaging, voice, mostly voice communication. And WebRTC basically is just a lib, can be included as a lib or as a toolkit into those games to directly bring RTC as a functionality to a different app domain, where gaming is basically not related to communications. And this is what we see where WebRTC is being used a lot, that companies who are not part of the communication space are just able to make use of the stack and to have a complete communication functionality without having the need to study basically all the different protocols and layers that are in there. They can only just make use of the high-level APIs. And your second question was about what's upcoming. Yeah?
Yes, in terms of the standards of WebRTC.
Excuse me? On the standards on WebRTC. Well, we are moving into a very stable state now of WebRTC 1.0. And obviously there's ORTC, in which we are actively participating as well. So every 6 weeks we are continuing to publish new releases. And we will adapt ORTC at some point of time, but we don't know when yet at the moment.
Any other questions for Niklas? If not, excellent presentation, great slides. People are asking for them already. A round of applause again for a great presentation.